What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Big Dave. Y'all know what it is. What up, Doe? Well, I got a special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up, Dave? It's your boy Dame D from the What Up Though show. I'm just here to join you on this another great topic again.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. It's always an honor when I have you, brother. Well, look, let's get into it, man. It's breaking news. Boosie is in the news again. The FBI has an investigation on him on the Duke the Jeweler murder. We're gonna get into this, man. Boosie once again is being investigated allegedly on charge. Of Duke the jeweler murder.
Yeah,
And then,
when you first told me the story, man, we talked about this a while ago, and I was like, no, man, I don't really think Boosie had too much to do with it. But when you alerted me about this story, I'm like, man, we got to talk about this. But you can go ahead. My bad. I didn't want to interfere with you. I just
no,
wanted to
no,
say that.
no, you did because I didn't want you to miss your point. But I remember when I called you about this, and I heard it when I first heard it. I heard it on Street Blog. Is a guy got a podcast called Street Blogger, and they was talking about the incident the night it happened, and they kept saying Boosie, Duke the Jeweler had the same clothes on. Boosie was standing nearby, and something about his nephew was in an AMG. So it was sounding convincing to me. You know what I'm saying? But when I was telling you about it, he was like, "No, that's some bullshit, man. I don't believe that shit, man." And then I wake up today that it's real. Now the FBI is investigating him and his cousin and arrested the cousin, and they're investigating the nephew, arrested the cousin, and they're investigating Boosie.
See,
But
let's not forget to say allegedly. You know what I
of
mean?
allegedly, of course.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I got some audio I want y'all to hear that I got queued up, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna come back and give you our commentary on it. Let's get going with that audio.
Situations happens day, every day.
How that audio sound?
Gambling and
It ain't
shit up,
loud.
and you know what I'm saying? And rob the dice game or
Then
whatever. You feel me? No matter who the yeah.
turn it up a little more.
Boosie is back in the spotlight. And no, it ain't because he dropped a hot new track or went viral on Instagram. This time, it's way more intense. We're talking life or death level serious. Duke the jeweler, he's gone, taken out in cold blood. And guess whose name keeps popping up in all the wrong places? Boosie. This ain't some made up story from random internet trolls. This is real now. There's actual federal paperwork, witnesses, and straight up evidence surfacing. Social media is going nuts, and the streets are whispering loud, like real loud. What started as side talk in barbershops and DMs has now turned into a straight up federal investigation, and every new piece of info that drops, it's not looking good for Boosie. It's like somebody's connecting every shady piece and forming one ugly puzzle. From a suspicious traffic stop that got Boosie pulled over, to high-priced jewelry that just vanished into thin air, to multiple eyewitnesses throwing names around, it's all stacking up fast. There was even a heated dice game that might have ended in bloodshed. If you thought this was just some regular street beef, nah, it's deeper than that. Here's how it all started. On the surface, it looked like Boosie was just out riding, minding his business. Then boom, flashing lights, sirens, pulled over by the cops. At first, folks didn't think much of it. Boosie's been through this kind of thing before, but then folks started putting pieces together. Why that car? Why that day?
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
when things
Keep going. Keep going. Somehow the audio. We having
because
technical.
that traffic stop, it happened right after Duke the jeweler got gunned down in Houston. That's no wild coincidence. And once people saw the timing, the internet exploded with theories. Now everybody's looking sideways. Then the feds stepped in and they came with heat. This wasn't your regular court mess Boosie's known for. Nah, this one's a whole different beast. According to insiders, the feds told him flat out, this case is separate. No delays, No distractions. They're not treating this like some side quest. They're coming full force, no mercy. Behind the scenes, the feds already making power moves. They split this case up from all Boosie's past legal trouble and started drilling down into what really happened that night. Who was with Duke? Who made it out? And who's trying to disappear now? Boosie may still be making music and posting online like it's business as usual, but to the feds, he's a top-tier person of interest in a federal murder investigation. This ain't a
Well, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Man, he's been allegedly, they say he is the top of the investigation. They said it's all started with a traffic stop. Boosie was riding one day and they pulled him over, and all hell broke loose. This is about Duke the jeweler. He's from Chicago, an up and coming jeweler, man, that's making beautiful pieces for athletes and rappers and all kinds of people. His name is starting to blow up. Well, it was blowing up. Dane, what you think about all that?
Man, it's a lot going on with this case. Originally, like I said, when we first talked about this case, some weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago, I didn't think. I'm like, why would Boosie have something to do with this? I'm like, this is a man with of means, with money. What reason would he have to be involved with this man losing his life? But after listening to a few of these videos and some of the reports that we saw, and now hearing that the feds are allegedly, he's being he's being watched, or he's being actually indicted, or they taking a look at him being involved in this case. But yeah, man, the whole thing with all the evidence that they talked about, with him having the bag, the jewelry coming up missing. It's just a lot of evidence, Big Dave, that I think that, this time it may stick. You know what I mean? It's just too much evidence that they got against him.
Well, like I said, both Boosie, since I've been listening to Boosie, he's always seemed like a stand-up guy. He mean business. I like his music. I like how serious he is about his music. Boosie is a guy with full of influence. He got money, and he takes care of his business. From what I've been seeing through the industries for years, you never really heard it Boosie involved in nothing until he went to jail for them 10 years. And remember, his daughter went viral for "Free My Damn Daddy," and she was cussing on the thing, and she went viral. And then he came home.
Right.
Now
he beefed out with his daughter. The one at one point he was beefed out with the one. I don't know if they made up.
Yeah, but my thing with Boosie, like I said, is well respected out here, man. Boosie name has never been tied to no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But what I don't understand about none of it is, if he did do this, it's a problem. I'm trying to figure out, why would you do it? It seemed like your life was okay. It seemed like things was going okay for you. I got a little more of this audio queued up. I want y'all to hear a little more of this, and then we're gonna dive deep into it.
And they're not sitting around waiting for Boosie to slip up. They're watching every step, every call, every post. They want answers, and fast. The feds are already piecing the whole thing together, timeline and all. According to Houston PD's official report, Duke flew in straight from Chicago with one clear goal: to sell some exclusive high-end jewelry to Boosie. This was strictly business, or at least that's what it should have been. Duke had over $1 million worth of custom ice packed tight in his Louis Vuitton bag. This wasn't no small hustle. This was major. Earlier that same day, Duke was spotted chilling at a celebrity boxing match, rubbing shoulders with some big names. After that, he slid into a private dice game, the same one where Boosie and a few others were hanging out. But here's where it gets real shady. Right after that dice game ended, Duke was robbed and shot dead. Minutes later, gone. No jewelry, no Louis bag, and still no answers. Boosie claimed Duke dipped off on his own, and whatever happened after that, he said he had no idea. But with that tight timeline and the fact that Duke flew out just to meet with him, yeah, the feds ain't buying it, not even close. That's when Duke's brother, who goes by Stacks, stepped in and made it crystal clear he wasn't letting his brother's death slide into silence. Stacks started talking, and what he said had everybody listening. He didn't hold back or speak in circles. He came out and said it straight. He believes Boosie set Duke up. No hints, no subliminal posts, just raw truth. According to Stacks, Boosie was the last person Duke came to see. And right after that, Duke ends up dead. That don't sit right with Stacks.
Yeah, something tomorrow for Duke. Leave your phones in the car, man. The family don't want no phones, man. We ain't got time for motherfuckers be sneaking no pictures, no videos, no bullshit like that. Leave your phones in the car, man. The family asking. No pictures, no recording and shit like that. And if y'all want to get y'all little ass slapped up,
And honestly, it ain't sitting right with a whole lot of folks either. Stack said he's been doing his own digging, checking footage, studying timestamps, connecting dots like he's solving the case himself. And the way he sees it, Duke ain't just get caught slipping. He got lined up. This whole situation stinks. This one hits different. It's a cold lesson, and the kind that leaves scars. It's one thing to take a loss in the streets, but when it comes from someone you thought you could trust, that's a whole different level of betrayal. Duke pulled up thinking he was handling real business with a known celebrity, someone with status, money, and clout. But what he walked into is starting to look more and more like a setup from the inside. Now, whether Boosie actually had a hand in what went down, or if he was just present when things got ugly, that's exactly what the feds are trying to figure out. Either way, though, the damage is already done. Duke ain't coming back, and the streets are demanding answers. Let's break down exactly what Duke rolled in with that night, because this wasn't no average meetup at a dice game. Duke the
All right.
Jeweler was a name, not just some...
Wow, man. Look, man, this is not sounding too good, and it's not looking too good for Boosie if this is true allegedly. The thing that I'm not understanding, I understand Boosie is well respected. I understand his name never been involved in no bullshit. I understand the only time that we knew about bullshit with Boosie is when he went to jail for 10 years, and he's supposed to did his time and came home. But what I'm not understanding is I don't give a fuck who Boosie is, and I don't give a damn who Boosie is. There's no way in hell I'm flying from Chicago with over $1 million worth of exclusive pieces to meet Boosie, and I don't even know him. I know it's about me and trying to get my business going and trying to get things happening. But I would have came down there with some backup. I would have came with security. I would have came with an entourage because I don't know nobody down there in Houston, man. And this guy was about his money. You heard what they said? He was slapping hands and bumping shoulders with some real big names at the boxing match, man.
Right.
And
See,
then
and I want to ask you this question. So did he die? Did Duke the Jeweler die before Offset died down there?
excuse me.
So did he get murdered before Offset got murdered?
You mean not Offset? You mean Takeoff?
Yeah, Takeoff. Yeah, did he get
Well,
murdered
see,
before
I'm glad
Takeoff?
that you opposed that to me and brought that up because I was going to bring it up. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what I don't like, man. We talking about Takeoff, man, part of the Amigos, and they was hot for like 3-4 years straight. They made a whole lot of money, and what I couldn't understand with that situation, and this was in Houston.
Right. See, and that's
This
why I
was
brought
in
that
Houston,
up.
and it was a damn dice game.
Exactly.
And
See
what I
that.
don't understand is how the hell did Takeoff and Quavo go down there and get into a dice game and they don't have no security, no backup, no entourage, just them two. And then all hell breaks loose and your nephew dead.
Man, and saying all to say that, it goes back to the beginning what his brother was saying. He trusted Boosie. He flew down there, and first and foremost, it goes back to what you were saying. Why would you fly down there without your own entourage? Because he trusted Boosie. He trusted Boosie. Boosie supposed to be his so-called, his brother, his man, so he trusted him. He flew down there with the Louis bag filled up with over $1 million worth of jewelry, that he invested his money, his time in, and put work in making, to go down there, and make some sales. So he trusted Boosie, with his life, basically, Big Dave. So my whole thing is, this man trusted you, with his life. He trusted you to hold his bag, his jewelry, and for all this shit to happen, man, and all the evidence that we, so-called, allegedly, that's the word that I want to say, allegedly hearing, man, it makes Boosie, it makes the whole situation sound kind of fishy, man. And this whole time, Boosie been, to me, somewhat a stand-up type of guy.
And that's just like with Takeoff. Jay Prince's son was the one hosting this dice game. And and nobody nobody went to jail. Really,
You
they
haven't
just
heard about
well,
nothing. I ain't heard about nothing about that case. Real
and
talk.
that, like I said, that never made any fucking sense to me.
Uh,
You got money. The only place, listen, let me tell you, I could be going to Las Vegas and I hit the jackpot. I'm gonna have an entourage come before I go home.
Yeah, and then not only that, man, why would you be down there with over $1 million worth of jewelry, and then one of the talks that we were hearing, and I don't know if you heard that, but he was down there when he was shooting dice, he was down there taking everybody money. He had broke all them niggas down there. You know what I mean? So, when situations like that happen, you down there, you breaking these niggas, you from out of town, you got over $1 million worth of jewelry. They looking at you like you meat. You see what I'm saying? Like you food.
I'd have been involved in street dice games, man, where we had real money on the table. And let me tell you, when you shoot dice, you talk shit. That's the name of
Facts, facts.
you talk that shit. And when you talk shit, man, some people get angry when their money getting took because you looking at them and while you taking their money, you holding their money, you staring at them, you talking bullshit to them. And sometimes people get angry.
Right.
Get angry and they don't give a fuck who you is. And they
Exactly.
go to war, especially if they the type of motherfuckers that's like that. But here's the thing, he didn't know these people. He was there on the
He
strip of Boosie.
Boosie, he down there probably didn't have no heat on him, because
He didn't have
he
nothing.
probably was relying on Boosie and Boosie peoples to hold it down. You know what I mean?
Boosie
So
had his
so really, man, that shit, just like with the shit with Takeoff, down there in Houston, man, that makes him look suspect. This man dying on your motherfucking watch. You know what I mean? He better be lucky, Jake, his brother and them didn't come down there and pay them boys no visit, but they're gonna let the courts and the justice system, play his hand, but man, it's a tragedy, man. You come down there on that man's watch, to do business with this man, and this end up happening to that man. That's horrible.
Well, I got a little more of this I want y'all to hear that I got queued up, and then we're going to dive in and we're going to go all the way in with it. I want y'all to hear this other little part, man.
With a chain, he was respected in the jewelry world, crafting custom pieces for celebrities, athletes, and influencers. His reputation was solid, his work top tier. That night, he was carrying serious weight, over $1 million worth of custom ice, packed in a designer Louis Vuitton duffel bag. He didn't come on no shady move. Duke showed up legit, ready to talk business and elevate his brand. He pulled up in that room with confidence, not hiding, not ducking. He was proud of what he built, flashing his pieces, showing off his skills, and thinking he was among people who recognized the hustle. He was all about the come up, never expecting what came next. But what did he get in return? Silence, vanished jewelry, a missing bag, and his body left behind. People have been digging through timelines, watching footage, connecting dots, and the pattern is getting clearer. After that dice game ended, Duke was gone, and so was the bag. The ice disappeared without a trace. It's like he walked into that room with everything and never made it out with anything. That ain't random. That ain't coincidence. That's a robbery with intent. And now folks are wondering if it was all planned from the jump. No sign of that $1 million setup anywhere. Duke rolled in, but suddenly the cameras were off. No footage, no witnesses. And out of everyone in that room, only one man didn't walk back out alive. Duke. That's not just bad luck. That's too perfect to be random. This whole story is practically writing itself at this point. But wait, it gets even crazier. That same Louis Vuitton bag, the one Duke brought in with over $1 million worth of custom jewelry? Yeah, Houston PD confirmed it was found inside Boosie's own house. Not a random storage unit, not with a homie. Inside his actual crib. Let that sink in for a second. And now, according to the talk on the block, Duke supposedly asked Boosie to hold the bag while they were shooting dice. But when things went left and Duke ended up dead, that bag never made it back to his people. No police report, no statement. It was just sitting there like it belonged to Boosie all along. And here's the real question. If Duke really trusted Boosie enough to hand him $1 million bag, then why didn't Boosie step up after the hit? Why didn't he call the cops? Why didn't he at least reach out to Duke's family? Why was that bag just chilling at his place like nothing even happened? And if that wasn't messy enough, now we got a missing phone in the mix. Duke's phone, gone right after that dice game. Vanished. Nobody knew where it went. Nobody saw a thing. But the feds ain't amateurs. Every phone leaves a trail. It's like a digital fingerprint. And when they traced Duke's phone, it didn't disappear into thin air. Nope, it pinged at Boogie's recording studio. Yeah, you heard that right. Duke's last phone signal led straight to Boogie's spot. So unless that phone grew legs and strolled over there by itself, somebody in Boosie's circle had it.
That's
Don't
crazy.
teleport. That signal didn't lie. Either somebody got reckless or they thought nobody was paying attention to that studio ping. That was the last known location before the phone went dark. Permanently, another link back to Boosie. And when the feds checked Duke's rental truck, what they found wasn't some mystery suspect. It was even worse. They pulled Boosie's own nephew's fingerprints from inside that car. That's bloodline right there. Boosie's inner circle getting pulled deeper into the mess. And it ain't just one relative. Next thing you know, Boogie's little cousin gets roped in too. That's 2 family members, both directly connected to the crime scene. And this ain't no rumor mill drama. This is cold, hard forensic evidence, fingerprints, real proof, no guessing games. The feds, they live for this kind of evidence. In court, it's like gold. And when the prints match people tied to the suspect, that's a slam dunk for prosecution. But it doesn't stop there. Nah, it gets even wilder. There was a witness, just a regular person stepping outside to smoke. And what they said changed everything. They told investigators they saw Duke leaving Boogie's house. At first, it looked like nothing. Duke was walking calm, relaxed, like he had no worries. Just another day, just another deal. But then, out of nowhere, Boogie's nephew came creeping from the side, not from the front door, not even casually walking up. Nah, this dude was lurking, like he was waiting in position, like the play was already set in motion. And if you believe what's laid out in those federal documents and what the street's been saying heavy, Duke knew something was off. They're saying he didn't freeze. He didn't run. Nah, he swung first. He tried to defend himself. Word is Duke tried to fight his way out of the trap, but it was already too late. That's when Boogie's nephew allegedly pulled the strap and let off. No yelling, no threats, no warning, just one move, quick and...
Man, this is starting to look more and more like a setup instead of a dice game that went bad on the death penalty, man. Look here, man. They done found the nephew fingerprints in Duke's truck. They done arrested the cousin. The duffel bag, the Louis Vuitton duffel bag with all the jewelry, after all this stuff, however many weeks ago this happened, it still was at Boosie's house in the duffel bag with all the jewelry.
Right. And don't forget, the phone pinged back to Boosie's recording studio.
You know,
the phone of Duke.
It's just not making any sense now.
So if allegedly, man, if all this shit is true, Boosie definitely got a hand in this shit, man.
This is what I still gotta keep saying it, man. People, whoever's listening, whoever watches me or watches anybody to talk about this story or any story like this, when I don't care if he's a star, I don't care who he is or who she is, you do not go on a plane by yourself with no over $1 million worth of jewelry. Even though he was up and coming and this is what he's used to doing, but he's usually dealing with real people, stand-up people. Apparently, we thought Boosie was a stand-up guy. Apparently, we thought everything was cool. Listen, I'm going to say it a fucking again. I don't give a fuck about Boosie when it comes to this. I don't give a fuck about nobody when it comes to me taking care of some real business. I'm not going to go down to Houston by myself with all this jewelry, and then I'm in a dice game whooping ass with strangers. People getting mad. And then you trust Boosie to hold your bag and never get it back? Come on, Dane, what you think about this?
Man, too much of the evidence. I mean, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it for yourselves. It ain't just, me and Big Dave bringing y'all this news. They broke it down. The feds is on his ass. You know what I mean? It's just too much evidence. The phone of, this man pinged back to his restored recording studio. The nephew, the nephew fingerprints was on the car that Duke had that they found. What else? Oh, Boosie had the Louis bag with the jewelry still at his house, sitting there. You know, that's crazy. Why would he even still have the bag? You know, why would my whole thing is, and Boosie was always trying to say he didn't even meet this man. You know what I mean? In some of the videos that you can go out there and find, but why didn't he even have the audacity to call this man's family? To let them know that what had happened. He got the bag, or try to even return the bag, Big Dave. That's crazy.
Dang, I have a question for you, man.
Go ahead.
We've been knowing each other for quite a while, but when it's talking about some real money, you still got to do it right. Even with me, you still got to come with your peoples. If I'm inviting you to a big thing, a big venue, and I say, look, man, I got a lot of people want to buy your jewelry, man, and everything you got to offer. And you come down there with $1,000,000. There's no offense if you come with your entourage.
No, and I agree, man. He should have came and listen, we talked about this, Dave, before we started the show. He should have came with his entourage, but the whole thing probably what he was thinking, Dave, like, okay, I'm gonna fly down there, Bootsy. This is, I shouldn't have to have nothing to worry about. He already got money. That probably was the last thing that he was thinking, Big Dave. Is being stuck up, or even being murdered. He thinking he getting ready to be around some millionaire. So sometimes, man, you get a little bit relaxed, but let this be a lesson to niggas. You see what I'm saying? No matter how much money you think a motherfucker have, they still can be on some poo shiesty type shit. And that's what happened to this man. But it sounds like the feds is getting down to the nitty-gritty of this shit, Big Dave.
Man, listen, it's looking more and more like a setup. This don't look like a dice game that went bad and turned to a death penalty. This ain't what this is, bro. Not to me. It's not sounding like it. Based on all the footage I've been watching, based on everything. And like I said, I don't just believe everything, because sometimes the government got a way of twisting things, and sometimes they got a way of making things work in their favor, because it's always about money. But this right here is not sounding good for Boosie at all.
At all, bro.
It's not sounding good. And then to turn around, you got two relatives involved, a cousin and a nephew.
It's
So
just
that
too
means
much. It's too
your
much
brother or
evidence.
sister child, and that means your brother and sister child, and that mean your child, somebody else had a baby, now it's your cousin.
Exactly. And my whole thing about it, man, he was trying to deny that he even met up with in the beginning, that he had even met up with Duke the Jeweler, and I'm like, what? Cut it out. He came down there to specifically meet up with you. So but it's just too much evidence, Dave. We definitely gonna be hearing about this, sooner than later. I
Oh,
think all this shit don't definitely caught up with Boosie.
we're going to be coming back with more and more stuff about this, because it's more to come. Because something like I said, okay, if you didn't meet him, who was he coming down there for then?
Facts.
Because apparently his family and whoever he told he was going to see Boosie. That's how we knew Boosie even exists with this, because whoever he told, like he told he told his brother and whoever he told that he was going to meet with Boosie. And so
Right.
apparently this is what he do all the time, because he's an up and coming jeweler and he's blowing up, man. You heard what they said? He's doing stuff for athletes. He's doing stuff with
Everybody.
influencers. That means he's dealing with big time people. Remember how Power Wall got started?
Right. And that's what happened, Dave. He got too relaxed being around these stars, man. And sometimes you can be a little bit starstruck, and I think he let his guards down, because in the beginning, like you said, Big Dave, he should have had his entourage with him. He was making money, so he had the means and the money to be able to bring a few niggas down there with him.
And I agree with you 100%, because, we all have been in that situation. It might not have been for no millions of dollars, but we all have been in some big paper situations, man. If you're a guy that come from the streets, man, and we all been in some big paper situations, and you always got to trust somebody in that.
Yeah, you got to have a right-hand man with you.
You always trust somebody, and sometimes if that person turns, it's too late, because you might not make it back home.
Yeah, you know,
Because
and then another thing, Dave, you know, and I'm gonna say my last words on this. Another thing would make everything look kind of fishy, man. Like old boy said in the video, Duke the jeweler was the only one that lost his motherfucking life that night. You know, how does that make Boosie look, man? You know, to everybody, and not just to him, to the family of Duke the jeweler.
man, that's got to make him look real bad because the top it off like that, out of all the people that he was beating and dice and everybody hands he was shaking and bumping shoulders, he the only one that ain't make it home.
Yeah,
He the only,
fact.
everybody else went wherever they wanted to go, but he the only one that didn't make it
Make
home.
it home. And
Done
that's
it.
fucked up, man. You know, when you come down there, you know, on being hosted by Boosie Badass, and you don't make it home.
And you know what's crazy about the whole thing? Not only he didn't make it home, but guess who his family had to get the news from? The damn police or somebody.
Right. Probably from social
Authority
media.
had to get in touch with them, find his family, find the number to call to say your loved one is dead. He's been murdered.
They probably heard that shit from social media first.
Man, you know what? I forgot. I ain't even thinking about the social media.
Yeah.
But still, they got that call.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't for Boosie.
Yeah, you know, so I want to give my condolences to the family, man. You know, to me, at the end of the day, you know, Big Dave, it sounded like it was a setup, you know, because we've gotten reports that he was down there breaking all them niggas in that dice game. You know how that shit go. You know, when you down there talking shit to niggas, you iced up and you breaking these niggas for their money. You know, most niggas be like, look, this nigga ain't leaving up out of this bitch.
Yeah, he was down there on business, man. And like I said, my condolences go to his family. If they got any kids, man, I hate to know that their father is not here for them no more. And what's sad is this guy was just hitting the surface real hard. His name was finna be real big out here in the jury, and it was there. It was getting there, and to be able to go down there and think somebody got your back, man. Because we all have been in situations we didn't trusted somebody. Thank God it didn't lead to death. But you know, I don't have nothing much more to say on this topic, Dang. Um, but yeah, if you got anything else to say, you can go on to say it. If not, I'm gonna let y'all know. You got anything else to say on this?
No, I don't really have too much to add to it, Dave. You know, but you know, this should be a lesson learned. You know, to those who, who's trying to entrust, people that you really don't know. You know, because he really didn't know Boosie. You know, that man went down there on business mind. You know, on business minded. You know what I mean? Trying to take care of business and end up losing his life. You know, so basically to sum it up, man, you got to be careful who you dealing with. You know, keep motherfuckers that you love around you, because you
He,
can't trust anybody, no matter fuck who they are, Boosie or not. You know what I mean?
that's
You
right.
can and you will lose your life as we see it.
He went down there with faith and belief, and he believed in Boosie, and he trusted him enough to know that to think that he would have his back. So I want y'all to make sure y'all subscribe, like, and share the channel, and please like the video. Get them likes up. Get these likes going, man. That's what make it go. We trying to get monetized here, man. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all subscribe. My special quote for today is: "It ain't always the good life ain't always good. Because the minute it starts to go wrong, you start to flip and do some dumb shit. Real talk.